Engine Noise Podcast is brought to you by oneauto.com. Quality car parts that ship quickly and come with thousands of free online videos that walk you through your installs. One Auto can save you a boatload of money by saving 10 to 50% every day.
What?
Isn't that weird?
That is really weird. 50% is like a lot.
Yeah, it sounds impossible. It's not impossible, Matt.
Not at 1A.
They also have free shipping.
Wait, free shipping?
Yeah.
What if I ordered an entire car from oneauto.com?
I guess if you ordered one part at a time, then yeah, I guess it would.
Something to think about.
oneauto.com. Quality car parts. We ready for the big intro? Big and exciting.
Big and exciting.
Hey, welcome to the Engine Noise Podcast for do-it-yourselfers like me who don't mind getting their hands dirty. I'm your expert, Jeremy Nutt.
And I'm Matt, your jack of all trades, master of none.
Get loose, Matt.
I was told there would be beer here.
I thought there was going to be beer.
So I guess we're going to talk about a couple used car buying tips from you, huh, Jeremy?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I have bought and sold between 30 and 40 cars, and then I've helped people buy and sell tons of cars as well. So I have created a massive list of tips, and I'm going to try to squish it down into a short, digestible time frame so everybody can enjoy it and learn from it, and you can learn from my mistakes. Sounds pretty great, right?
Sounds terrific. Let's do it.
God, I love bullet points. I would say the first tip on my list is knowing what you want. Keeping a car or flipping a car. That will sort of determine your method of buying the car. It's two totally different approaches. If you're going to be flipping a car, you don't necessarily care what kind of car it is. You want to get the best deal possible. If you're buying it to keep, you probably want a specific type of car. You want like a SUV or something that's going to be great in the winter if you live in New England.
72 Le Mans.
Or a 72 Le Mans with a blown-up engine, something like that.
Uh-huh.
If you're going to be keeping the car for a period of time, then you should definitely know the vehicle that you want and drive as many as you possibly can. Let's say you want a 2000 Mitsubishi Galant, because who doesn't? It's your dream car, Matt. I know it.
I've never even seen a Mitsubishi Galant.
All right.
Ever.
Well, Matt, I used to own one.
Oh.
I'll show
Should
you
I be jealous?
I'll show you a picture sometime.
Okay.
Go online, figure out who has them, go on Craigslist, go on all the different websites that have cars for sale. See and drive as many as you possibly can. Because if you're comparing two different cars, it's going to be impossible to find the better one. But if you're driving the same car, then you can easily compare them and you can find the best one, and you'll understand what makes one better than the other. And it might be options, or it might be the fact that one is worn out, but you don't know if it's worn out unless you've driven 5 of them, let's say.
I see.
You always want to drive the same car, though. Different actual cars, but the same year, make, model, or the same generation at least. On the other hand, if you're flipping a car, you don't really care what the car is so much. You just want to get a bang-up deal. And if you want a deal...
You buy a 99 Dodge Dakota.
Nobody wants a 99 Dakota.
Excuse me.
I mean,
I want a 99 Dakota.
How much Bondo is in your 99 Dakota?
How much
or
Bondo is not?
Yeah. Okay. How much metal is left on the Dodge Dakota?
It's about 70-30.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So if you're flipping a car, it's a totally different way of looking at it. You are going for the best deal possible and not so much caring for what type of car it is. The best thing that you can do is buy a car that is not for sale.
How do you mean?
Yeah, so sounds crazy, right? You need to be the guy or the lady that people go to when they have a car that they don't want in their yard anymore. You want these people to call you first when the time comes that a car needs to disappear, because they don't care so much about making the money on it. They just want it out of their lives.
And how do you do that? Be the annoying guy on Facebook?
No, you don't want to be that guy.
I'm Jeremy. I'm looking for any car you got.
No, you just always keep $500 cash around so that if a deal comes up, then you offer your $500 cash, even if the car is worth $2,000. And most of the time, people are willing to do this, which is crazy.
Pretty crazy.
People want to get rid of stuff cheap if they don't want it in their lives anymore, because a car takes up a lot of space. The other option is if you see a car in a yard that hasn't moved in a while, then you go knock on the door and you say, hey, what's going on with that?
Didn't it take you 10 years to do that with the Le Mans?
Okay, so yes, it took me 10 years on the Le Mans, but...
Practice what you preach.
I know. So here's the thing. I would say 15% of all the cars I've owned, I have just randomly knocked on doors and bought them. Some of them were actually free. if you're helping somebody out by like getting the car out of their lawn, you usually get a really good deal. One of my friends, he had this trailer that he upgraded to a new trailer, and he wanted this car out of his yard. And I said, well, I'll take the car on the trailer, and then I parted out the car, and I made almost enough money back to actually cover the cost of the trailer. So I got a trailer out of the deal. Moral is, flipping cars, be the person that people go to, knock on people's doors, ask friends if they know of any good deals, and be ready to buy a car when you're not expecting to buy a car. Okay, so the next one I'm going to run through quick. When you look at a used car, there's a bunch of things to look for. The first thing is don't look at used cars in the rain, because rain always makes cars look 10 times better than they are.
Oh,
yeah.
I did not know that.
Never buy a car in the rain. You'd be shocked at how nice a car looks in the rain.
Just shine it up.
And how terrible it looks in the sun. I've been fooled by this. Next thing is get the Carfax report. As crazy as it sounds, and I hate spending money, if you're spending like real money on a car, let's say, I don't know, $1,000 or more, it's probably worth spending the $20-something and getting a Carfax report.
Oh, that's it, huh?
Yeah, they're not super expensive. If you know a guy, sometimes you can kind of get a Carfax report through a friend or from a dealership. Sometimes you just get to know a guy. But Carfax reports will tell you how many owners a car has had, and accident report, title salvage, that sort of stuff. So it's worth it to get a Carfax report if you're spending any sort of real amount of money on the car. If you're pulling something out of somebody's backyard, don't bother with it. The car's a wreck anyways. Also, when you look at the car, look at the vehicle history. If you can get the information from the owner that tells the history of the car, if it's had a timing belt, if it's had a water pump, if it had brakes, shocks, any sort of like vehicle maintenance history, that is super valuable. You also want to know why the seller is selling it. If they're selling it because it's a lemon, it's a very different story that they'll give you than if they're selling it because their kid doesn't deserve to have a car anymore and they want it out of the yard before their kid steals it.
Right. Makes sense.
You also want to know that the title is clean, which if you have the actual paper title for the car, it'll say salvage on it if it's not a clean title.
That's what that means. A clean title is, it doesn't say salvage.
Exactly. And a clean title means it hasn't been totaled by an insurance company in the past. If it's been totaled in the past, the value of it is halved itself.
Oh. That's
like a general guideline to go by. If it has a salvage title, it's worth 50% of the value that it would normally be worth.
Bing! Tip.
Yep, pro tip. You always want to look for mismatched body panels because if the body panels are mismatched, you know that the thing's been in an accident. Mm-hmm. You want to look underneath the car for rust or leaks. Always check the tires for weird wear patterns. Pop open the hood and look at oil levels and make sure the oil level is clean. You can also check the transmission fluid for burnt smell. You want it to be red. Brakes, you can peek in the wheels and you can actually check the brake thickness. The oil change sticker, people always forget to do oil changes.
Right.
You notorious for that, Matt, or are you pretty good with it?
You know what? I'm pretty good with it. That sticker right up in the left, you know.
When you're buying a car, a lot of people forget that they have an oil change sticker on the windshield. So you can hop in the used car and be like, oh, this person is 10,000 miles overdue for an oil change.
Uh-huh. I must say, though, if your engine leaks oil, like maybe a 99 Dodge Dakota. Hypothetically speaking, all you have to do is just add to it. It's like having an oil change. All of that bad oil is leaking out of it, and you put good oil in, you know, a quart every week.
I don't know if it works like that, man.
I don't know.
I'm not confident in that.
Okay, well.
So when you turn the key of the car on, every light on the dash will turn on, including a check engine light. If the check engine light doesn't turn on, then either it's burned out or somebody pulled the bulb out of it.
Oh,
and that is like
sketchy.
That's an actual thing that people do, as crazy as it sounds. So you always want to turn on the key of this used car and make sure that all the lights on the dash turn on. ABS lights, because that's another one that people pull out. If they have ABS problems, they'll pull the bulb out of it.
Problem solved.
Exactly.
That sounds illegal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's actually illegal, but it's
Isn't
unethical.
It like messing with the odometer illegal?
Yeah, and it technically is part of the gauge cluster, so maybe it's illegal.
We'll look into that.
Yeah, moral is don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't pull bulbs out of the dashboard. But always look for them when you're buying the used car. Make sure all the gauges swipe up and down, that sort of thing. Inspection stickers. You ideally want to have a passing inspection sticker on the windshield when you're buying the used car. If it has a rejection or if the inspection sticker is before the date of when you're buying the car, they probably can't get it inspected for some reason.
And they gave up.
Yeah, so the price is going to be way down. So you offer some lowball price for it and you get a good deal.
So it's not off the market in your mind.
No. It's just far cheaper than they're asking.
So sometimes it's even a good thing.
Yes. You want to make sure all the windows go up and down. You want to look for cigarette burns on the dash and on the door and on the seats, because it's easy to hide the smell of a cigarette for, let's say, a day. But once you close up that car and you let it sit in like a rainy day or a rainy week, it's going to smell like smoke again. It's really difficult to remove the smoke smell from a car.
Gross.
Look for the cigarette burns, because then you'll know it's a smoker's car, and they probably hid the smell of the smoking for the moment that you're looking at the car.
Right.
The last thing on the list before you actually drive the car is look in all the nooks and crannies. It sounds kind of creepy, but I looked at a car once, and it looked great on the outside, and I hopped in it, and it looked like every nook and cranny of the console, the dashboard, everything was filled with like Three Musketeers.
So melted chocolate?
I would say more melted nougat.
Oh.
Yeah.
That actually sounds delicious. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know that I would put my tongue on anything in this car.
Well, when you say melted nougat and nooks and crannies, I think nougat on an English muffin, and it sounds delicious.
This was more like melted nougat. Let's say you get nougat under your fingernails. That is more what it's like, but it's all throughout the car. If you look on the dashboard of a car, there's like little nooks and crannies over the airbag and around the vents. All the seams were just caked with nougat.
Did you look at my car earlier? Okay, Jeremy, tip number 4. Diagnose problems during the drive and add up repair costs before purchasing the vehicle.
And when you drive it, you want to do sort of like a assessment of what you're going to spend to fix this car, especially if you're flipping it. Because if you're flipping it, you want to know your expenses so you can kind of add them up and make sure you're going to actually make money on this thing. Check the AC and the heat, make sure those work. You want to see if the car was warmed up for you or not, because if you get to looking at a used car and it's already been warmed up, they may have prepared it in some way that tells you it runs good even though it doesn't. Warmed up cars typically run better than cold cars.
I do know that.
You don't want to get to a used car and find out that it was already warmed up, sitting pretty for you. You want to see it cold. That's when you're going to find the problems.
For instance, my 99 Dodge Dakota needs to run for about 10 minutes before you can actually drive it. You got to give her time.
Right. And transmissions are the same way. They don't always shift right when they're cold, but once they're warmed up, they shift a little nicer. Start with a cold car if you can. If it does shift, you want to check to see if the brakes work all right. Check the lights. You want to make sure the clutch works if it's a manual transmission. Make sure that the shifter doesn't pop out of gear. Make sure the horn works, of course. And you want to make sure that it doesn't overheat, because overheating gets expensive fast. Once you're driving the car, those are the top things you want to look for. Final tip, 5-year-old cars. This is my top secret move. Buying 5-year-old cars, in my mind, is the most bang for your buck. They are still new enough where they don't have problems for like another 40,000 miles.
Right.
But they're old enough where the first person that bought the car has lost all of the initial money on the car. Let's say the car was $25,000 new. It's now 5 years old. It's going to be like $10,000 to $13,000.
Okay.
But it's also going to have a good 40 to 50,000 miles before you have to do any like real work to it. Even at that point, you're just going to be doing the normal maintenance stuff. You're going to be doing brakes, tires, transmission service. And then after, 5 more years, around the 10-year mark, let's say, you're going to start doing like timing belts and the bigger jobs. AC will stop working, clutches will burn out, that sort of stuff.
Right.
So 5-year-old cars are the best bang for the buck.
I prefer 19-year-old cars, but
I hear the 99 Dakotas are nice this year.
Yeah, they really are. They're, two-toned.
Sometimes 3 or 4-toned.
Sometimes,
yes.
If you don't paint the Bondo.
Sometimes the bottom halves are different colors than the top halves.
So we got Bondo, black, and amethyst.
Wow.
It is not purple.
That's nice,
It is amethyst.
I would not have guessed it was such a
Of course you wouldn't.
fine color as
You
that.
don't understand how awesome 99 Dakota is.
I don't. I just don't know. My top 5 used car buying tips are:
Tip number 1, know what kind of car you want. Tip number 2, buy cars that aren't for sale. Tip number 3, do you check your nooks and crannies? Know what to look for. Tip number 4, take that thing for a drive and add up repair costs. Tip number 5, 5-year-old cars. I'm going camping tonight.
Really?
For the weekend. I'm bringing my 99 Dodge Dakota. Hope it makes it there.
I hope it does too. I don't know if it will. I'm rooting for you though.
Well,
Does it need any parts?
It needs everything.
Well, 1A Auto actually sells high-quality auto parts.
You've said that once or twice.
They have quality car parts that ship quickly and come with thousands of free online videos that walk you through each and every install.
Plus free shipping.
I know.
If it's free, it's for me.
Exactly, man.
Can't beat that.
It's the complete solution for your automotive problem. Go to 1AAuto.com.
Say, Jeremy.
Yes, Matt.
Does the name Mona Lisa Vito mean anything to you?
Yes. It reminds me of the wonderful Marisa Tomei.
Marisa Tomei.
She was in My Cousin Vinny. That was her name in that movie, I believe.
You are correct, Jeremy.
She's pretty big time in that movie because of her automotive knowledge in the courtroom.
She won an Oscar for that role.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'd believe it. I mean, she's coming across as an automotive professional when she's up in the courtroom there.
Right.
One thing that might be a fun fact for you, that whole courtroom scene, while she does get the vast majority of it 100% correct, there is one little flaw in what she talks about.
No.
Tough to believe that Mona Lisa Vito actually had a flaw.
Dead on balls accurate.
Last episode, you gave me a little audio challenge.
That's right.
I think this week you're going to get the audio challenge.
Ooh.
It's a little car knowledge, a little audio.
Okay.
In the form of Marisa Tomei.
I am totally game then.
Which one of these clips is incorrect? A.
Because Chevy didn't make a 327 in 55. The 327 didn't come out till 62. And it wasn't offered in the Bel Air with a 4-barrel carb till 64. However, in 1964, the correct ignition timing would be 4 degrees before top dead center.
B.
The car that made these 2 equal-length tire marks had positive traction. You can't make those marks without positive traction, which was not available on the 64 Buick Skylark.
Or C.
Now, in the 60s, there were only 2 other cars made in America that had positive traction and independent rear suspension and enough power to make these marks. One was the Corvette, which could never be confused with the Buick Skylark. The other had the same body length, height, width, weight, wheelbase, and wheel track as the 64 Skylark, and that was the 1963 Pontiac Tempest.
So which one is it, Matt?
The answer is D. All of them are correct because Marisa Tomei does not lie.
Oh, I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you on that one. There is actually one small discrepancy in C. Oh, let's just review for one moment here. Mona Lisa Vito says Chevy didn't make a 327 in 1955, which is correct, as you know.
Of course I know that.
Because the 55 Chevy actually had a 265 V8 in it. That was the first year of the small block Chevy. As a car guy, I feel like that is the fact to know.
So she knew her stuff there.
Yes, and that she also said that the 327 didn't come out until 62, which is correct. And then wasn't offered in the Bel Air with a 4-barrel until 64, which is also correct.
Okay.
Let's go to B. She said that there were 2 equal-length tire marks that had positive traction, which is correct. Positive traction is where the 2 rear tires are spinning at the same rate because they have a limited slip differential in the center between them. That is completely correct. The problem is, letter C, she said that there was only 2 other cars made in America that had positive traction and independent suspension and enough power to make these marks. One was Corvette, not to be confused with the Buick Skylark. The problem is the Chevy Corvair. And you know about Corvairs.
What about the Corvair?
Corvairs, you could have posi traction in the rear differential, which is actually like the transaxle because the engine was in the back, so they didn't really have like a normal differential in the back. They had a transaxle, but you could have a posi setup in that. And they also had enough power to do a nice skid mark or burnout because you could get a turbocharged engine at the time. The non-turbo engine had like 80 horsepower, but the turbo one had about 140. And you're talking horsepower, Matt.
Okay.
So that is enough power to do a burnout and have a posi burnout with 2 wheels, and it had independent rear suspension. So she was kind of wrong in that note. The Buick Skylark, yeah. The 63 Tempest, that had independent rear suspension, and the Corvair was the other option that she didn't mention. There we are.
Maybe she was wrong, but she knew nobody in the jury is going to know about a cool turbocharged Corvair.
Yep.
She's an expert. She's like, I know these people.
I know.
They're not going to know the Corvair.
I completely agree.
She was still dead on balls accurate. She's still a car expert, Tomei. Thanks for listening to Engine Noise, a podcast brought to you by 1AAuto.com. We have another awesome episode up right now, so go listen to it. And be sure to subscribe so that you'll be notified when another episode drops. Subscribe by hitting that giant subscribe button. Thanks to Jamie Prohaska, our producer.
And Patty Ford, our editor.
Thanks again for listening. And until next time, DIY.
Do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
Fix bad car.
Do it. You can do it.
Just turn those wrenches.
Wrench them hard, even if you don't know what you're doing.
Wrench it on, and then wrench it off.
Wrench on, wrench off. Karate Kid reference.
Oh, Karate Kid.
This Engine Noise podcast is brought to you by 1AAuto.com. Hit the subscribe button now and stay up to date with all the new episodes. Have a question for Jeremy or Matt? We'd love to hear from you. Send us an email at enginenoisepodcast@gmail.com.
I drive a Dodge Dakota. It's black and amethyst, not purple.